So for this morning's, or whenever you're doing this class, practice, you don't need anything in particular at all. If you've got a mat there, that's good. If you're used to using any props, for example, for relaxation or in general to support yourself, please gather them. It never hurts to have a cushion around and maybe a blanket in these temperatures currently down here. So we'll begin lying down on the backs. Once you've got a chance to lie yourself down, you can do with your legs and with your arms whatever you choose to do, which means the legs can be out long, they can be bent, you can touch soles of feet together, open your knees out, or whatever else might be suitable for yourself. And letting yourself just drop down onto the floor. I am in a very slight way picking up a little bit of what we practiced last week, and that was to be in a safe space. In a safe space where you can draw the attention towards the practice. And this practice has many facets. So we will start by acknowledging that we have a safe space. And be that the mat, as we're all in our individual spaces and connecting over Zoom or recordings, it is important that we are still connected with each other as well and assisting ourselves to be safe in the practice by allowing ourselves to be present. Now, the topic for this week, however, is the change that occurs, or autumn, if you would like to see it that way. And Rumi had a very lovely fitting line for that. He wrote, "Be like a tree and let the dead leaves drop." These dead leaves dropping away from a tree. The tree is perfectly at ease, is letting them go. The tree is trusting, is faithful that when he lets the leaves go, when it's time to release them, that there's a resting period that follows, and that after that resting period, new growth is coming. When we think about ourselves, maybe on the mat, maybe beyond the mat, what is it that we are holding on to? In that season of autumn, when we think about the different leaves and how they change their color before the tree lets them drop. At first, they're nicely green, which reflects our heart center, the heart energy, loving energy. And when we think about them changing their colors, in autumn, they turn into red, representing our base chakra, that sense of safety and groundedness. And the following two assisting with that as we think about the orange and then the yellow. So that is all the chakras leading up to the heart from where the tree might want to start. And when we think about the heart center, the necessity for grounding through the other colors and the extension of the heart, that is our arms. This leads us right into the energy lines or the meridians. And that one of them for autumn is that of the lungs, which is basically an extension from the front of the shoulders down the arms, all the way the inside of your arms into your thumbs. So we will practice with the arms, finding a sense of groundedness today, allowing the lungs to unfold their capacity, as well as aiming to let go what is no longer needed within us. We'll start with 2 rounds of Viloma, a breathing practice that has a 3-part in-breath and a short pause as we hold the breath then in the body and then exhaling from the top down to the bottom. For that, we will count to 9. Each part of the breath from the belly then up to the ribs and then to the collarbones has a count of 3 in each part. If you struggle to count, if the breath is too long or something in this practice is not yours today, please let that go. You can always just do deep breathing and lengthening your exhalations. So if you want to participate in the Viloma, we will begin by breathing into the belly, 2, 3, rib cage, 2, 3, collarbones, 2, 3, hold and pause, and exhale from the top downwards, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhaling again to the belly, 2, 3, ribs, 2, 3, collarbones, 2, 3, pause. Exhaling from the top downwards, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let the whole technique go. Stop all counting or control of breath and just be. Noticing that sometimes when we build up and then exhale, we're already getting a sense of letting go. While I encourage you now to deepen your breaths and find a pattern that you can use during this practice and maintain, I will also ask you, if possible, to lengthen your legs out and to take a deep breath and let your arms reach over the head onto the ground. Stepping then your left foot onto the mat and rolling over onto your right hand side. Both legs out long, both arms long over the head. Start to move your hips forward. Bring an arch into your back as the arms, the legs are moving behind. Take a big breath in. And on the exhale, then flop down onto your back like jelly on a plate. We'll repeat that on the other side. So the right foot is stepping down as you roll over onto your left-hand side, pushing your hips forward, reaching your arms and legs back. Inhale. And as you exhale, flop down onto your back and let the whole wobbles go. From here now, bring your feet up onto the ground and let your arms open away like branches. Starting to let the knees just gently sway from side to side. A light rocking across the back and the pelvis. You can increase the range of this movement if it suits you, but not essential. And you can start to turn your head. Only if the neck allows you to, and it doesn't have to be in the opposite direction. You could also flow the head together with the knees if that feels better for you. Finding a balance between left and right side before you pause, with head and knees in the center. Then bring your knees over your chest and give the knees a good squeeze in. On your next inhale, let your arms reach over the head and the legs extend to the ceiling. And with the exhalation, draw your knees back into your chest. On the inhalation, legs extending up, arms over the head. On the exhalation, draw your knees back into your chest. Please feel free to adjust the pace to your breath as we keep repeating. And another 2 rounds from here. And then once you've got your knees hugged into the chest, let your feet land down as close to the buttocks as they can, but at hip distance apart. Outer edges of the feet parallel or lightly pitch and toed stance. Your arms now down by your sides, the palms of the hands touching the mat. On the next inhale, squeeze the buttocks and raise the hips for a bridge. On the exhale, roll back down onto your back. On the inhale, lifting the hips up. On the exhale, rolling your spine back down. You can choose now as you continue that to raise your arms and bring them over the head to the ground. On the exhale, sorry, rolling down, releasing the arms down. Let's continue that. On the inhale, extended bridge. On the exhale, rolling your spine down. Practice for 3 more. And in your last round, I invite you to hold. As you hold your extended bridge, draw your tailbone up towards the backs of your knees. As you hold here, only lift your arms and then plant them back down by the sides of your body. Inhale again. And as you're exhaling, curling down the spine, 1 vertebra at a time, so much more slowly than we've done before. As you release your hips, bring your knees over your chest loosely. Without any holding on, reach your arms back up, interlace your hands, and if that's available to you, place the hands behind the head. Elbows are wide and knees are close. And you can start to rock your knees a little bit from side to side. If this is what makes you feel good within your body, keep going like this. If you would like to do a little tuck, squeeze your knees up to your shoulder and then swing them around and squeeze them up the other side as well. You could continue that for a few rounds, just squeezing your knees up as you swing the legs from side to side, getting a little bit deeper up the spine with the twisting and maybe finding some release here. Do so for 1 last round. And then center the knees again. Release your arms and give your knees now a good squeeze to the chest. And if it feels right on another out breath, your nose can tuck up towards the knees as you curl into a ball. Then let your upper body relax back down. From here, you can choose to roll onto your side, or you could choose, if you're feeling more energized, to rock a few times forward and back, and then coming up into sitting, but we're not going to stay here. So I'm already finding my way now into a standing forward bend at the front end of the mat. And my knees will be quite bent, and I encourage you to do the same, allowing the upper body to just hang down here. Letting everything go. Your belly, if it's possible to rest that over your thighs, please do so. And allowing the head and the arms to feel quite heavy. Then engage your lower abdomen in the direction of your tailbone. And with an exhalation, holding that slight tension, curling up into standing. Take a shrug of the shoulders as you inhale, and then let them roll back down as you exhale. We've got a lovely stance here with the feet apart, the outer edges parallel with each other. And I encourage you to touch your hands together. And start clapping the hands, and then go up the inside of one arm to the front of the shoulder, then pad into the center of the chest and go down the other arm. Clapping back to the hands, come up this arm to the front of the shoulder, center of the chest, and then clapping down the other arm. We'll do that once more as we come up the inside of the arm. That's exactly where the lung meridian lies. Tap into the center to strengthen the immune system, and then go down the other arm, clapping the hands again, and up that arm to the front of the shoulder one last time into your chest, and then down the other arm. And releasing the arms down and just standing nice and tall for a moment, indulging in the sensations, the energy you've created within your body. Taking a deep, full inhalation. And a long, slow out breath. If it suits your body and particularly your shoulders, we will move the arms outwards today. If the shoulders don't like that, you can still lift your arms over the front. So while you inhale, raise your arms up, lifting your gaze. Then soften your knees as you're exhaling and fold down all the way into a forward fold. On the in-breath, your hands can slide up or fingertips to the floor for a half lift. On the exhalation, folding back down. Now keep your hands on the floor and your knees bent if you like. And raise your right heel towards your buttocks. So I'm playing a little bit with the core today as well to engage into stability and groundedness. And as you're inhaling, slowly extending the leg out. And as you're exhaling, landing your whole foot down onto the mat. Placing your left hand on top of your left thigh. And as you inhale, swing your right arm back and follow it with the gaze. So we're standing, the hand is supporting on top of the thigh, and you're looking at your right hand thumb there. Getting a sense of stability from the feet and from the hand that is resting. Inhaling here. And as you exhale, swing the hand from the back and place that on top of the thigh. I recommend to lift the back heel off the floor to align the pelvis. And as you then inhale, draw your left arm back. And again, if possible, follow that hand with your gaze. Maybe even spreading the thumb away. That's the end of that lung meridian line. The more we're encouraging the thumb to be extended, the more we're stimulating that line. Inhale. And with the exhale, bring your hands down to frame the front foot. I invite you into a down dog, but if you don't want to stand on your hands today, you can drop down to your knees. And you could also move your down dog a little, like walking out through the legs. On your next inhalation now, roll the spine forward and bring yourself into a plank or kneeling plank. And on the out breath, lower down onto the front of your body. Let your forehead come to rest and swing your arms behind your back and interlacing the hands here. As you lengthen your arms down the spine, encouraging the tops of the feet into the floor so the legs are engaging. On the inhale, then raise your legs, the head, the chest, and maybe the arms coming away from the back and hold here. Nothing needs to be done. other than maybe releasing earlier if you're required to. Keep your legs at a reasonable distance, maximum hip distance apart. The arms only lifting away from the back if the shoulders are happy. Take one more breath. And then release your arms and an ear down to the mat. And if it feels good, you can bend the knees and let the legs sway gently from side to side. In case we were holding on to some tension around our lower back and pelvic area. So you can relax that back down. Center the head. Bring your hands down by the sides of the rib cage. Breathe in onto all fours, either to stay or tuck your toes under and lift the knees for a downward dog. I encourage you to either move the down dog or play around with the stability of the dog. So if you are playing with the stability, you're finding your weight bearing quite evenly between the hands and the feet. With the next in-breath, raise the right leg. Keep the foot in flexion for pelvic alignment. Inhale, point the toes. Exhale, bring your knee into your chest and hold the knee up towards the chest and your foot up towards your bottom. Then aim with this foot between your hands. You're welcome to bring the back knee down if the stance here is challenging. As we hook our thumbs up in front, taking an in-breath to lift the arms and the torso, keeping the body leaning forward, your thumbs hooked up, your fingers spread out, and encouraging the front side of the pelvis backwards. As you hold here, arrowhead lunge. Inhale. On the exhale, step the foot forward. And as you're inhaling, find a standing back bend. On the out breath, release your thumbs and let the arms drift back down by the sides of your body. Taking a deep, full breath in as you stand here in mountain pose. And of course, the breath out to follow. With your next inhalation, lifting the arms, the gaze again, touch the palms, soften the knees and exhale to fold forward. On your in-breath, a half lift. On the out-breath, hold the forward bend. Lifting your left heel to your buttocks, holding it there. And as you inhale, slowly extending the leg. And as you exhale, gently land the foot down. Place your right hand on top of your right thigh. And as you inhale, rise up and swing the left arm back and look at your thumb. Get that same sense of fully supported and safe in the stance with the hand encouraged to the thigh and just the arm moving backwards. Breathe in. Breathe out and swing your hand forward. Place it onto the thigh and potentially lift your back heel. As you then inhale, let your right arm reach back and again look at the thumb. Now in a twist. Inhale. And on the exhale, release your hands to the mat, stepping back for downward dog. On your in-breath, roll the spine forward, come into plank or kneeling plank. On the out-breath, lower onto the front of the body, resting the forehead down. Your arms come behind the back again. And as you interlace, change the finger on top, then lengthen the arms down the back. encouraging the tops of the feet into the floor so the knees are lifting. And with the next inhale, you may raise your legs, the head, the chest, and the arms, and hold here again. Think about your legs and the distance they are apart and how that might affect your lower back. Here we do want to hold on the legs a little bit closer. Maybe the chest and the arms are still up. For one more breath you could hold. But then as you breathe out, let that drop. Change the ear on the mat. Let the heels roll out or bend the knees again and let the legs sway gently from side to side. It's also a nice grounding effect down to the mat when the pelvis is rocking. You could allow your legs to come to rest. Centering the head and place your hands down by the sides of your rib cage. On the inhale, come up onto all fours, tucking the toes under and lifting your knees off the ground if you choose to, but all fours is fine here as well. As you find your stance, it's likely that you're a little bit more comfortable now with the down dog. Think about your shoulders opening at the back so that the armpits are starting to face and there's that beautiful rotation through the shoulders. On the next inhale, then extend your left leg up, the foot is in flexion. As you inhale, point the toes, and with the exhale, draw your knee to your chest. Keep lifting it to the chest and keep tucking your foot up. And then aim with this foot between the hands. As you come to your fingertips and extend your spine, we'll hook up the thumbs again, but we've got the other thumb on top. Now lifting your arms, maybe even around your ears, but forward, and allowing the spine to lean forward, but be rather straight. The front hip is encouraged to move a slight bit back to realign with the other. Inhaling, exhaling. As we inhale again, and on the exhale, stepping the foot forward. And as you breathe in, a standing back bend. And with the out breath, let the arms drift out and release along the sides of the body, finding your mountain pose. Keeping your gaze rather steady. And if you can't feel that connection towards the floor at this point, you might lift and lower the feet a little bit to stimulate that sense of safety and groundedness in your standing position. There's no better balance to make us feel grounded than the tree. So I will ask you to raise your right heel and open your knee out to the side. You can place your foot onto the foot, the heel to the ankle, the foot to the lower leg, or you could help your foot up to your inner thigh. Please don't place the foot against the knee. We're avoiding this delicate part of the leg. If your foot is this far up against the inner thigh, create pressure between the inner thigh and the foot. We'll leave the arms open today. Maybe the thumbs a little bit more extended. And if you like, and you've got the stability to, you may extend up into branches. You could keep your gaze rather steady, as you could imagine that you've got all these beautiful colored leaves hanging off your branches, reflecting all the colors of autumn, the sense of inner strength and groundedness, but at the same time, ready to let go. With your next inhale, lift your knee and raise your arms. And with the exhale, bring your hands to the heart and step that very foot back, about 1 meter, but out to hip distance as well, so that the pelvis is facing facing forward. And then bring a gentle bend into your front knee to complete your warrior one stance. So the knee here is over the ankle, but the bend isn't too deep. And with your inhalation, then raise your arms. You might turn the palms of your hands backwards to rotate the shoulders further. As you inhale here, keep the stability in your legs, but as you breathe out, swing your arms down by your sides and rotate the shoulders as much as you can. And then on the inhale, lifting the arms as if you're scooping something up. And on the out breath, let the arms fall again. As you let them go, rotate your shoulders. One more round. Inhaling to lift. And exhaling to swing the arms back and down. Breathing in to lift the arms again. This time you can allow the palms to face or to touch over the head. That's your choice. Feeling the strong stance as we pause in Warrior One or Virabhadrasana One. Your gaze is steady forward or steady upwards. And you might allow for a moment to feel if you are holding tension. And if there's something you could do to release that tension. As you next inhale, straighten your front leg. And as you're breathing out, draw your hands down the midline onto the thigh and let your hands slide down the leg into a pyramid pose. Your hands can touch down on either side of the front foot. Your nose might move towards the knee. Your hands could also stay somewhere on the leg if the arms are a bit shorter. And I encourage you to press the front of the front foot down into the mat to balance across your pelvis. And then hold here and breathe. Each exhalation, you can imagine something is dropping away from you. Anything that you might have been holding on or you're holding on within this shape for. Let that drop trusted down into the earth. With the next inhale, bend into your front leg and let the back foot join into a forward fold as you breathe out. On the in-breath, rise to a half lift. On the exhale, fold again. As you soften your knees here, engage your lower abdomen to tail and exhale to roll up into standing. As you rise to stand, give the shoulders a shrug and release the arms back down by the sides for your mountain pose stance. Find the steadiness of your gaze, straight ahead ideally. I'm actually looking at leaves changing their color. And you could do so internally if you don't have any in front of you. As we change sides for the tree, raise your left heel and open your knee out to the side. There's no pressure in doing exactly the same you did on the other side, but there's the same options available to you. If you place your foot up over or into the inner thigh, there's a pressure we're creating of leg against foot and foot against leg. Arms can open out. So we're exposing the energy line of the lungs. And if you feel it was good for you to raise the arms, do so. As you show off your leaves in the light, they might shine their brightest colors, supporting the stems and the roots into the ground, as all the way up into the branches. As you next inhale, raise your arms and lift your knee in front. And take your hands to your heart as you step your foot back about 1 meter out to hip distance, leaving your toes diagonally pointing forward and bringing a bend into the front knee. So we're already in a warrior one stance, and we find our stability as the pelvis is effortlessly pointing forward. With the inhalation now, raise your arms and let the palms of the hands face backwards. On the exhale, drop the arms and rotate your shoulders. On the inhale, as if you're scooping up, palms facing again behind, arms lifted. On the exhale, drop the arms and rotate your shoulders. One last round, breathing in and breathing out. And as you inhale, raise the arms again, this time to stay with palms facing or palms touching. Notice if there's any stress in the shoulders, in the upper back, you can release or change the positioning. Your gaze is steady and forward or steady and upward, depending on how your neck is feeling. Your stance strong and tall. On the next inhalation, straighten your front leg. Bring your hands to touch and exhale to draw the hands down the midline. Rest them upon the thigh and let them slide down all the way to frame the front foot as you might lower your nose down. Please again feel free to leave the hands on the legs if your arms feel too short to reach the floor. Ideally your legs are long and you're pressing down into the front of the front foot to keep pelvic alignment. The whole body in a forward fold with a solid stance in the pyramid. Allow yourself to be here for a few more breaths. With the next inhalation, bending into the front knee. With the out breath, step the foot into a standing forward bend. I will ask you now to heel and toe your feet to about shoulder distance and then turn your heels inwards. For those of you with achy knees or achy hips, bend the knees just enough so you can place your forearms on top of your thighs and lengthen your spine this way. If anyone feels comfortable to lower the hips down to the floor, you could do so without sitting, of course. And you would then bring your elbows to the inside of your knees and touch the palms of the hands together and also lengthen your spine. So whether your hips are low or high, I encourage you to lengthen your spine. Maybe if your legs are straighter, you could rest the forearms to the thighs to support the shape and to assist the lengthening of your spine. Let's close the eyes for a moment. Taking a couple of deep breaths. You can reach your hands behind you and come to sit, or you can extend your arms forward and round your back. And you might then, I don't dare to, I might bump my head against the wall, come to sit down gently. Now I will put my jumper on just to keep my upper body warm. And we will begin the next posture with an extension of the left leg out to the side. The right knee could be bent and the foot be tucked into the inner thigh if that is possible. If you need any support underneath your bottom, you could roll up the end of your mat or you could use a blanket to do so. With your left leg extended, flex the foot on that side and point your toes up towards the ceiling. Allow your hands to be in the middle, so this might look like head to knee pose, but it isn't. You can have this knee at a bend, but if it's possible, it might be easier to keep it straight. While you inhale, ground through your sitting bones and reach up to the crown of the head. And as you're exhaling, walk your hands forward. As you fold in between your legs, it does not matter how far you can get. There's a light opening of the hip happening, but if the leg that is extended is engaged, you will also feel a lengthening coming through this leg. As you surrender the upper body down, imagine what you are letting go of. But what you are doing at the same time is grounding through both of your sit bones, so you're feeling connected to the earth. Allow yourself to be here for a few breaths. Staying within this shape, the breath and the sensations. As you next inhale, walk the hands back up and breathe out to ground again into your seat. Let your right hand fingertips swing behind the back and place the back of your hand against the outside of the leg. Stay grounded while you inhale and exhale to twist. There is a likelihood, like our minds do, move ahead because we think we know where this is going. The body sometimes reflects that with the lift as we move further towards that side. So make sure you're staying grounded on your sit bones. On the inhale now, turn your head forward. On the exhale, swing the hand behind you. Leaning slightly back as you bring your feet out in front. Maybe interlacing your hands behind the back. It's okay to leave your fingers on the ground if you prefer. It's also okay to leave your feet grounded, but you could lift them too. And on your out breath, if you like, go for a little twist. On the inhale, come to center. On the exhale, go for another twist to the other side. Inhale, come to center. Exhale, release your hands. Extend your right leg out and tuck your left foot in. As we flex the foot on the extended leg so the toes are pointing straight to the ceiling, bring your hands down in front of you. Sit firmly on your sit bones as you inhale, come up straight. And with the exhale, then releasing into the space between the legs. You might allow the head to lower, keeping the leg engaged, actively pointing upwards. Let your body melt down. As the breath flows in and out, allow yourself occasionally to be reminded to ground down through the sitting bones. Rather than moving somewhere that is not your place, keep the groundedness happening and explore the sensations in the body as we hold for a few more breaths. When you next inhale, lift. And when you exhale, ground. Swing your left hand fingertips behind your back and place the back of the right hand against the outer thigh. Ground down through the sit bones as you inhale. And then exhale to turn your body into the twist. The extended leg still active. The sitting bones on the ground. Noticing as we repeat the second side that your thoughts are oftentimes ahead of the practice. Allow yourself to come into this groundedness that includes this moment. Eye gaze is steady, internally or externally. As you inhale, turn your head forward. As you exhale, swing your arm behind. Now, if you've got something underneath your bottom, please remove that now. And then place your feet back out in front of you. Now, if you were to use socks as we come down to the ground, please put them on now and have everything ready that you need for relaxation. The way down here is absolutely optional, as you could lean back into the boat, and you might even reach your hands with an interlace behind the head again. If possible, you could lift your feet off the floor. We're not twisting here, we're extending. And as you slowly extend, lowering down onto the mat, releasing the arms from there. As you step your feet down onto the ground and then bring your knees out wide towards your shoulders. So feet off the floor, hands to the wide knees, and squeeze your knees up towards your shoulders so you look like a frog lying down on your back. From there, you could lift your feet up so your ankles are stacking over your knees and the soles of the feet are pointing to the ceiling. Your hands could move to the backs of your thighs as you draw your knees down in the direction of your shoulders. If you feel here quite comfortable, you can extend your arms on the inside of your knees and take a hold of the outer edges of the feet. If that changes the positioning of the legs, please go back to the backs of the thighs instead. For the blissful baby pose or Ananda Balasana, we will hold here. There's a hip opening and an inversion happening. But you could also draw on one foot or leg and rock a bit to that side and then do the same on the opposite side and gently allow yourself to roll over your back. If that doesn't feel pleasant, don't do, but maybe it just feels nice and comfortable to rock like this. After a few times of rocking, find stillness in the center, bring your feet back together, give the knees another squeeze towards the shoulders, and then let your feet come down onto the mat. Your arms release, and you could, for a little moment, let your feet come to the edges of the mat and bring your knees together for a slight inward rotation here around your hips. Your arms can be relaxed, and this is a constructive resting pose. If you're very comfortable here, maybe cover yourself and stay. If you feel like a full Shavasana, you can lengthen the legs out and let the feet roll outwards, or you could place your bolster underneath your knees. Allowing the eyes to close when you feel ready. Letting your body drop. As you come into the stillness of Shavasana, get the sense again of feeling grounded, safe, and supported. In autumn, we are within a Vata, an energy that's coming from or this idea, concept coming from the sister science of yoga, Ayurveda. It is incorporating the qualities of coldness, dryness, and excessive movement, be that thinking or wind. So that is the reason why we want to be grounded in this season of autumn. So we don't get blown away by the wind like the rustling leaves that have dropped to the earth, and with that lose our way. So nourish that sense of being grounded and safe, as you can choose to let go of what you need to, old crutches, maybe forgiving someone, taking it easier on yourself. If nothing in particular comes to mind that you would like to let go of, just like the leaves are released by the tree, you might instead silently for a little while repeat the mantra, let go. Practice letting go for a while in stillness. If your mind is engaged in any form of letting go, bring it now back to the safe place that you're in. You might start to deepen your breath, but maintain stillness in your body. And potentially take with you. Be like a tree and let the dead leaves drop, as Rumi said. As you keep deepening your breath, you might start to rattle your own leaves, your fingers, your toes. And you might choose to expand from there into deeper movement of stretching. And then when you're ready, you could roll over onto your side. And then join me in a seated position. We can touch the hands together in front of the heart, the thumbs to the sternum. That sense of your sitting bones completely grounded. We breathe out to synchronize our breathing. For one Om, we inhale together. As you inhale, spread out your branches. Open the front, the lungs, the heart. And as you exhale, bring that all together at heart center and apply a light bow as we acknowledge each other. Namaste.